This is an announcement for Wargames and Wargamers, a public and open and free video chat, which is held every week on Saturday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the next get-together will be on the 30th of January, 2016. It is free, open, and extremely easy to get involved. All you need is one link, https://appear.in/bigboard as one word, BIGBOARD. Next Saturday, as a general topic, we'll be talking about system games. Here on the screen, on the video, we have a game that, to my knowledge, is one of a one-off games. This is Beachhead, a game of island invasions in the South Pacific, 1942 to 1944. This was published by Yaquinto Publications in 1980. And again, to my knowledge, a one-off game. The question is, are we largely actually playing system games today? By that I mean games that are parts of ongoing series, whether it is Grand Tactical Series, Operational Combat Series, Standard Combat Series, Great Battles of History, Great Campaigns of the American Civil War, Combat Commander, and the list goes on and on. Musket and Pike Series. So again, the question is, to start, while we may talk about many different games, are we actually playing to a large degree games that are parts of ongoing systems or series? And what are the advantages and disadvantages as a player of having access to so many series or system games? What do you like about series or system games, and what are possibly some drawbacks? Seems like system or series games are pretty much almost as old as the hobby itself. Series and system games definitely go back a long ways, but they, in some ways, it seems like they are quite dominant in the market and in the hobby today. Is that a good thing, bad thing? What do you think about that? First of all, to really quickly mention more the last session yesterday, the 23rd of January. The general focus was naval war games, but as usual, the discussion was all over the place. Primarily, it was a very very chatty, very fun, nice, relaxing conversation. Many of us just getting caught up on what we've been playing and doing in the hobby. But I guess I would like to give passing mention to the Admiralty series, which is a series that I have the Russo-Japanese War installment in that series. Haven't played it yet, but that is a game that you just want to. That's a game that leaves you awestruck. How else to put it? But there's also the Great War at Sea and the Second World War at Sea series. There's the Fleet series. Some of my favorites: Battleship Captain, Fighting Sails, Black Sea Fleet. But in any case, naval wargaming is such a distinct subset of an already tiny niche of wargaming. We also, Harpoon came up, and I thought that was very interesting. Having heard a lot about Harpoon, but not having a lot of first-hand experience at all with Harpoon, I found that very interesting. for myself. So for next week, system games, series games. What I did is I went on Board Game Geek and I started by looking at the the browsing, the rankings, the ranking page that starts with Twilight Struggle and goes down from there. And I just stayed on the first page, the first really 50 games. Now, first thing first, I might be keying in on system games, and that's the number one thing is maybe my own perspective is heavily weighted towards system games for whatever reason, because, well, very high on the list you have the Combat Commander series system. Now I have a question. Family of games. It seems like you have families of games, you have series, and you have systems, and are they really all exactly the same? Maybe there are some important nuances to those different categories. I started with system games, but then I quickly had to consider, well, what about families of games and series? So there's the Combat Commander series, which looms so large. But then on the other hand, you have a game like Here I Stand, incredibly popular, and I presume played a lot. Doesn't seem to qualify as a system game to my knowledge. I know very little about it. I will say one thing that I've been thrown off in the past. I've come across a game, looked very interesting. I got the game, played it, enjoyed it, and then discovered that it was actually was so closely related to other games that it's actually, in fact, part of a system or series, and I didn't even realize that from the start. So, to my knowledge, Here I Stand is not part of a series or system. Then you have Fire in the Lake. Certainly a lot of attention and exposure, and again, I presume played a lot. Is it part of a series? Is the GMT coin series? Well, it's in the name, GMT coin series. So again, I'll ask: are series games really system games? Is there overlap? Are these distinct, but there's overlap? I don't know. So you have the GMT coin series. You have Commands and Colors, of course, probably an archetypal system or series, system game, actually, system of games. Of course, Advanced Squad Leader, another in the same mold. Conflict of Heroes, again, a classic system game. No Retreat, Devil's Cauldron, so it goes on. So all of these pulled from the top of the Wargames rankings from Board Game Geek, and of course there are so many others. What do you like about series games? Are there drawbacks to series or system games? Are we better off having so many system games? Are we as players better off? Is it the way to go, or is it simply a practical and generally successful business model for publishers, and so we therefore have so many of them? A bunch of questions, lots to say, I think, about it, but what started this off is, what is it, if system games are so prevalent today, what's behind that, and what are the pluses and minuses of that? So again, Wargames and Wargamers, the next session will take place 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, next Saturday. That's the 30th of January 2016 at https://appear.in/bigboard, one word, BIGBOARD.